Good afternoon and welcome to today's episode of NWCR's Removing the Liberal Blindfold for this Monday, the 23rd day of August in the year of our Lord 2021. Articles of impeachment have been drafted against Joe Biden. And this is from the daily headlines, and it is, as I've said, when all the fake impeachments were being pushed against Trump for no reason, but that the Democrats didn't like him, is going to come back to bite them in the butt. Like I said, this would happen when they were impeaching Trump for nothing by saying they were opening a can of worms that would come back to haunt them. Well, here it is. One good turn deserves another, it seems, and that it is Joe Biden's. The Democrats were the masters of drafting flimsy impeachment charges against President Trump, did their best to destroy him. However, each one was just another attack in an attempt to destroy the morale of Trump supporters and those who wanted to protect our nation. There was never any valid reason to ever impeach Trump, but for Biden, I can think of about 100. How about you? Now, it seems that Biden is facing his term in the hot seat, and rightfully so. What is occurring in Afghanistan at this very moment falls squarely on his shoulders and no one else's, and has made us the laughingstock of the world. Biden literally gave the Taliban access to weapons, and not just any weapons, but our weapons, folks. A terrorist organization that chants "Death to America" has weapons that can and will unleash terror on innocent people, and Biden needs to be held accountable for this. Thank goodness for Marjorie Taylor Greene and her resolve to uphold the Constitution and hold Joe Biden, aka the Pretender-in-Chief, heels to the fire. John Solomon with Just the News reports. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, Republican of Georgia, is moving to impeach President Biden. In the light of the fall of the Afghan government, she believes Biden's handling of the situation, which has left thousands of Americans and Afghan allies stranded in the Taliban-controlled region, is an impeachable offense, which it is. Quote, "It's a complete dereliction of duty. It's inexcusable that Joe Biden left thousands of Americans and Afghan allies behind. We don't know if all our people are even alive," unquote. And this is what Greene said on a recent edition of the John Solomon's Report podcast. In terms of her impeachment effort, Greene says that she has been working the phones with her caucus colleagues to see whether the cause can gain a sizable backing. The GOP conference needs courage, she says. Several members of the GOP House Conference have floated similar sentiments this week as the situation in Afghanistan deteriorated and the U.S. government was left appearing as though it was unprepared for the potential of a Taliban takeover. Greene said, "If he had any honor at all, Joe Biden should resign." And then she added she believes a strong U.S. leader would now be doing targeted bombings and making sure the Taliban understand to get out of the way and leave Americans alone and let our people leave, unquote. In terms of how she believes the U.S. response to the Afghan crisis is being perceived around the globe, she said, quote, "We've lost the trust of our allies and have damaged relations in so many ways," unquote. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene introduced 3 impeachment resolutions against Joe Biden: dereliction of duty, how he has handled the border crisis, and for usurping congressional authority and ignoring judicial authority of the Supreme Court. First, dereliction of duty. And this includes Joe Biden failed to secure the extraction of thousands of American civilians and Afghan allies before and during the withdrawal between August 14th and August 16th of 2021, putting thousands of lives in imminent danger from the Taliban. As Commander-in-Chief, Joe Biden has armed our enemies by leaving numerous weapons ammunition, and other military equipment that could be used against American citizens, allies, and other civilians in Afghanistan. Yeah. As Commander-in-Chief, Joe Biden has armed our enemies by leaving numerous weapons, ammunition, and other military equipment which could be used against American citizens, allies, and other civilians in Afghanistan. Joe Biden has shown the American people that his administration failed to prepare for the extraction of civilian and military assets from the nation of Afghanistan. And Joe Biden abandoned tens of thousands of American citizens and Afghan allies stuck in Afghanistan at danger of being captured, tortured, held hostage for ransom, or killed. Joe Biden showed grave dereliction of duty and continues to demonstrate that he is unfit to hold the office of the President of the United States. Now, the articles of impeachment for border crisis, which includes President Biden's Department of Homeland Security has willfully refused to maintain operational control of the border as required by the Secure Fence Act of 2006. His actions have directly led to an increase in illegal aliens and illegal narcotics, including the deadly fentanyl, entering the United States. President Biden's administration willfully violated the Immigration and Nationality Act by releasing illegal aliens into the interior of the United States. The act clearly requires DHS to detain aliens seeking admission to the United States while they are processed. By law, DHS does not have the option to simply release aliens into the interior of the United States. President Biden reinstituted the catch and release policies of the Obama administration and has released aliens into the interior of the United States without issuing the aliens notices to appear. Under President Biden's administration, the Department of Homeland Security terminated the migrant protection protocols, which provided a pathway to process claims in compliance with the law and served as a deterrent to illegal immigration and aliens making fraudulent asylum claims. As a result of President Biden's policies, CBP encounters have increased each month since he became president. Since February 2021, more than 1 million aliens have been encountered by the CBP personnel at the southwest land border. In addition to illegal aliens, President Biden's policies have led to a significant increase in illegal drug smuggling across the southern border. Now for the articles of impeachment for usurping congressional authority and ignoring judicial authority of the Supreme Court. And these include Congress has the authority to enumerate the powers, duties, and functions to be exercised by agencies, as well as directly counteract through later legislation certain actions implementing delegated authority. The Constitution outlines that executive power shall be vested in a President of the United States. Thus, the President serves as the Chief Executive Officer of the executive branch of the federal government. Any regulations, guidance, or extensions made by executive departments are derived from the executive power of the President and are subject to his discretion. In September 2020, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, issued an order temporarily halting residential evictions to stop the spread of COVID-19 under Section 361 of the Public Health Service Act. According to the Department of Health and Human Services, or HHS, Section 361 of the Public Health Service Act, 42 U.S.C. 264, gives the Secretary of Health and Human Services the authorization to take measures to prevent the entry and spread of communicable diseases from foreign countries into the United States and between states. The CDC's order was extended by Biden administration in March 2021 to remain in effect through June 30th, after which it was extended again through July 31st, 2021. Justice Kavanaugh expressed on June 29, 2021, that Congress, and not the executive branch, is responsible for taking legislative action on the eviction moratorium in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. In fact, Justice Kavanaugh explicitly stated in his opinion that, in my view, clear and specific congressional authorization via new legislation would be necessary for the CDC to extend the moratorium past July 31st. On August 3rd, 2021, the Centers for Disease Control extended their eviction moratorium until October 3rd, 2021, in direct contradiction to Justice Kavanaugh's opinion on June 29, 2021. By these actions, President Biden has demonstrated his manifest disrespect for Congress, the American people, and the rule of law by usurping congressional prerogatives explicitly enumerated in the Constitution and reaffirmed by the Supreme Court. And now we'll remove the liberal blindfold. Now I know the Democrats will come unglued because their tactics against Trump have been rightfully used against their Biden. The only difference between the two is the fact that the ones against Trump were all made up and cost the American people millions, if not billions of dollars for what they made up. This, on the other hand, is following the laws and the listing of laws. And still, Pelosi is showing us that she has probably had a stroke and lost her sanity because she is now praising Biden for the good evacuation of Afghanistan. Are we kidding here? Now, I could easily use the last Bible verse that I used from Isaiah because it totally fits what I have been talking about. The watchmen of our government are blind. But to use another verse from Matthew 23, verse 16, "Woe to you, blind guides! You say, if anyone swears by the temple, it means nothing. But if anyone who swears by the gold of the temple is bound by that oath." It is like I have been saying, my friends, the time has come to go to war against our government, to stand up and fight. As in all liberal states, the people have been made to believe that the ones who are truly in charge are the politicians. When, like I have said over and over again, they are not. The ones in charge, folks, are you and me, the people. Why else would the Constitution start with the words, "We the people"? Our leaders from Biden and Harris all the way down to city councils and school boards have been inundated with people of the liberal bent who seem to think that they are the ones who are in charge. And the people are getting sick and damn tired of it. In New Mexico, we have a whole network of people who are now rising up against the tyrannical governor of the state, just like they did in New York, which in effect provided them with Cuomo resigning. That in itself was a complete victory for the people. Now, if they will only stay awake there and elect someone who will stand up for their values and their rights. I can't say they will, but we will have to just wait and see. In California, Governor Newsom has the impeachment and removal of him from office for all things that he has done, which were against the law. Hopefully there, like I said about New York, the people will elect someone like Larry Elder who will stand up for their rights as American citizens. But like New York, we will just have to wait and see. Here in New Mexico, there is no way to impeach a sitting governor. But there is a way to get a trial before a grand jury, and the people are in the process of doing just that. But like in New Mexico and California, if they succeed in removing her, will they vote in someone who will fight for their rights? Even though I live in New Mexico, I just cannot say. The people of Albuquerque have been voting Democrat for years, after all. We have to pray and work from the grassroots to make sure that governance gets taken by the right people, even if we ourselves have to run for office. All over the nation, that is something that is open to any and all Republicans who desire laws to be followed and the Constitution to be revered. We can take our nation back from the Jacob Candelarias and the MLGs and the Newsoms and the Cuomos and the Bidens and the Harrises. We can take out the Pelosis and the Schumers and all the others who will not follow the Constitution. That is the way to save America, folks. That and God. If you think like Obama, Biden, who say this nation was not formed as a Christian nation, you need to read the founding documents. God was all over those documents and the laws that became the United States. Thank you again for listening to us here at NWCR, where we strive hard to find the truth hidden by the lamestream, lying liberal media. And as I will always say, we will not be ruled. We are heard through Conservative Nation Media, or CNN, from behind the silver microphone of freedom, with the voice of reason in this increasingly unreasonable world where America always wins. Please subscribe to my Rumble account under the name of NWCR's Removing the Liberal Blindfold, and also my BitChute account with the same name. And now I am also on Bridian, where it says, quote, "Refuse to be silenced. Free speech lives here. Join now," unquote. And there the name of my videos is Removing the Liberal Blindfold. Please subscribe, because I am being shadow banned on Facebook and YouTube, and I don't know how long I'm going to be on YouTube, for I tell the truth and they don't like it. We will be back on Tuesday for our next update, and until then, use your common sense and stop being lemmings for the idiocy of the left, because they will only laugh at you when you fall off the cliff that they have prepared for you. And like as I always say, we shall not be ruled, and God bless you all. I did not do a show today because I am in Indiana, and there is no way for me to actually do a show, so I have canceled it for this week, and I will be back next week, but this week I will give an update every day as I can. See you later, and God bless you all.